Hello everyone and welcome back to this Let's Play series of Star Trek Online. My name is Winters and you are very welcome. So, for this episode we are going to do a skill respec. For anyone that doesn't know, a skill respec is basically retraining your skills. Every character has a skill tree and you can access it by either clicking up here on this little button, character status, or pressing U for uniform on your character sheet. Or on your keyboard, sorry, character sheet. Yeah, it opens up your character status. And all you do is you just simply click on skills here. Now, I accidentally hit retrain skills, that's why I have no skills here now. Playing as a Jem'hadar, you get a default loadout of skills. As soon as the character is created, it's already filled out for you. But I wasn't happy with it. I know I can improve upon what was there. So you may want to do a skill respec if you're doing a Jem'hadar as well. You don't have to follow the same thing that I'm going doing, but you can if you want. You can come up with your own skill tree to suit your own build and play style. But yeah, anyway, I accidentally hit retrain skills and I blanked the whole thing, and I didn't mean to do that off camera, but basically it's just down here, retrain skills. That's all you have to do when you want to retrain them. So we have three categories. You have engineering skills, science skills, and tactical skills. And you have a number of tiers then. You have 5 tiers of mastery. The way it works is, in order to unlock tier 2, you have to put X amount of skill points into tier 1, and so on and so forth. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start here on my tactical energy weapons training, plus 50 energy weapon training. That's pretty straightforward, just makes your energy weapons better. I'm going to put 3 points into that, and all you have to do is just double click on each one. The next one I'm going to do is I'm going to put a point into shield capacity and 1 into hull capacity. You can see there, plus 50 hull capacity. That's 50 points in the actual skill. It's not 50%, alright, just make sure you don't make that mistake. It's plus 50 points into, in this case, shield capacity. You can see that the 50 points translates basically into 15% increase. Okay, so that's 5 points in tier 1, and you can see now it's unlocked tier 2. Now, I'm going to put my next points in here. Targeting expertise basically just improves your accuracy level, okay? So I'm going to put 3 points in there, into that. And the next one I'm going to do is defensive maneuvering, plus 50 defensive maneuvering. Basically increases your defense value, okay? So pretty straightforward. Nothing too difficult so far. Alright, so that's 3 points in there. Now, you may be wondering why I haven't put any points in here. As you can see, this is projectile weapons training. Basically improves the damage output from projectile weapons, so torpedoes or mines. The reason why I haven't done that is, well, one, I don't have any torpedoes on my ship. Now you might ask, why don't I have any torpedoes on my ship? And that links directly into why I'm not putting any points into projectile weapons training. So let's imagine that this weapon here, okay, is a torpedo. In order to make that weapon, actually, do you know what? Here, this is the best thing. We'll put in a torpedo just for pig iron. Okay, so now I have got 3 points in energy weapons training. Okay, so that means that this weapon, this weapon, this weapon, this weapon, this weapon, this weapon, and this weapon are all being boosted by these 3 skill points. Okay, but this weapon isn't. Okay. Now, if I want to increase the damage output of that single weapon, I have to start spending points in here. You can spend 1 point, 2 points, or 3 points, obviously. But if you just take a step back and think about it for a minute, that's a huge waste, at least in my opinion. Spending 1 or more skill points in here to boost a single weapon. Whereas the 3 points that I put into energy weapons training are buffing all of my weapons. Okay? The other thing is, let's say this bridge officer here, alright? It's a lieutenant commander station that he's in. So he's got 3 abilities. When I use Tactical Team 1, that's buffing every weapon. Granted, it's buffing the torpedo as well. Okay? Attack Pattern Beta, that's a damage debuff onto your target. But let's say, for example, Attack Pattern Omega is an increase to all damage. So that will be buffing every weapon, including the torpedo. This one, though, Beam Fire at Will. That is buffing every weapon on my ship except for the torpedo. Now, what if we look at it the same way as we did with our skills? In order to buff that single weapon, I would have to replace one of these tactical skills here to buff one single weapon, and all the rest of them are left, you know, on their own. Like, let's say if we didn't have Beam Fire at Will in here. Let's say we had Torpedo High Yield. Excuse me. Let's say we had Torpedo High Yield in there. It's only buffing the torpedo. It's not doing anything else for your other 7 weapons. Again, it's an incredible waste. And that is why I don't have any torpedoes on my build. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not to say that you can't or you shouldn't run torpedoes on your builds. You can. And I know plenty of people that do it. And to be perfectly honest with you, there are some of my builds that do it. Okay? Specifically, I have one build that is nothing but projectile weapons. In fact, it's all torpedoes or mines. There's no energy weapons on it. I've gone the other direction with it, you know. But that's a different type of playstyle altogether. But yeah, you can do it if you want. So, you know, you can put 1 or more points in here if you want to. I don't, because of the 2 reasons that I just explained a minute ago. And also, another way to look at it is, despite having to spend 1 or more, potentially 3 points to boost a single weapon, those 3 points could be used somewhere else here, potentially to improve either my damage output or my survivability. Because, believe it or not, the engineering and science skills, well, not all of them, but some of them, can help with your damage output, as well as, obviously, you would imagine, you know, like this one here, shield capacity. You know, that's defensive in nature, because the more shields you have, the longer you're going to survive. So that's why I'm not putting any points into projectile weapons anyway. So we'll just move on from that. I've explained everything with it. The next one that I'm going to do is this one here, Drain Expertise. Basically, this increases the amount of energy that you can steal from your target and gives it to you as bonus energy. And one of the things you have to realize with Star Trek Online that is very important is that power is extremely important. Alright, without power you can't do anything. If you don't have any weapons power, your weapons ain't going to do jack. If you don't have any shield power, you're going to have no shields. If you have no engine power, you're not going to move. If you don't have any auxiliary power, you're not going to be able to do any auxiliary abilities like transfer shield strength, hazard emitters, anything that uses your deflector. So yeah, Drain Expertise. Now this is actually going to come back to a specific console, and I'll talk about that now here, which is this. It is called Plasmonic Leech. This can be got from the Infinity Lockbox. It is not a guaranteed certainty that you will get it. It's just a chance that you might get it in the Infinity Lockbox. So remember that. If you're playing the Lockbox game, you are not guaranteed to get this. You could end up with anything, okay? But you might end up with this. For KDF players, however, this console can be purchased through the C-Store by opening it up, go to ships, and I think it's tier 3. And this one here, the Vandal Destroyer, you can see here the Plasmonic Leech can be equipped in any console slot of a Klingon ship. Basically, this ship comes with the Plasmonic Leech, okay? And it's 1,000 Zen to purchase it. A very good purchase, this ship, because even if you're not going using this ship, it means that you have a free copy of the Plasmonic Leech on every one of your KDF aligned characters. So a very good purchase, okay? Well worth keeping in mind that. So basically what this console does is, well, you can see here, plus 0.75 all power levels to self per stack for 15 seconds, stacks up to 10 times. And also minus 0.75 all power levels to target per stack for 15 seconds and stacks up to 10 times. So in layman's terms, what that does is this console will take power from your currently selected target that you were firing upon, and it gives it to you as free bonus power. And remember what I said a minute ago? Power is everything, okay? Without power you can't do jack. And there's one or two other little things as well that are linked to power and overall damage output, but we'll talk about that stuff later on in the series. So anyway, getting back to the skill tree, I'm going to put 2 points into Drain Expertise because I am going using this console now, and basically it's just Drain Expertise and Improved Drain Expertise. You have Drain Infection as well, which is 4.3 electrical damage every 1 second for 10 seconds. No, I'm not really worried about that. Actually, I should point out here, these two here are Shield Restoration and Hull Restoration. So these are heals over time. These are Bridge Officer ability heals. So, you know, if you use Engineering Team, which is a hull heal, this increases the effectiveness of it. Anyway, the next one I'm going to push points into is Electroplasma System Flow. This increases the rate at which your power levels regenerate at. So, for example, when you're firing weapons, your power levels will drop because you're firing weapons, and this increases how quickly they recover. Also, if you switch between the different subsystems, so let's say if I had all power in shields and then I wanted to put all power to weapons, this will increase the amount of time it takes for that switch to take effect. Okay, so we're going to put 2 points into that. EPS, Electroplasma System Flow, and then Improved EPS Flow. I'm not too worried with Impulse Expertise, which is basically speed and turn rate bonus, and Control Expertise, which is anything that disables, holds, repels, pulls, confuse, placate, anything like that at all. So like tractor beams, for example, they hold a target. Tractor beam repulsors push away targets. So the point, if you're planning on using any of those abilities, you may want to put 1 or 2 points into Control Expertise. Anyway, let's move down to Tier 3. So, Weapons Amplification. This increases the severity of your critical hits. Okay? You can see this is a plus 50 to that skill bonus, and that translates into basically plus 20%. So I'm going to put 3 points into that and boost that up. In fact, actually, to tell you the truth, guys, anyone that's been watching me with these Let's Play series before, if you've seen my last Let's Play series for Star Trek Online, I'm going to do a very similar skill tree, if not the exact same that I done the last time. Even though this guy is an engineer, I want him to be very tactically focused, so that's what I'm going for. Weapon Specialization. This is again plus 50, which translates into a plus 2% to the critical chance bonus. Basically, it increases the chance or likelihood of you getting an actual critical hit on your target. And again, I'm going to put 3 points into that, and that's what that basically does. Next one, Shield Hardness. Pretty self-explanatory. It increases the effectiveness of your shields, the hardness of them, so it's less likely for you to take, or you take less damage. I'm going to put 2 points in there for now, because I want to see how the skill tree pans out a little later. Shield regeneration, I'm not too worried about. I might put a point into damage control later, but not now. Hull plating, this is a big one. This increases your damage resistance rating. So when you do get hit with weapons, this increases the resistance you have to those weapon hits. So I'm going to put 2 points into that. Basically increasing the energy damage resistance rating. And I should point it out, this is energy damage resistance, okay? This one over here, ablative hull plating, is for kinetic or physical damage resistance rating, meaning damage that comes from torpedoes, because that's physical or kinetic. That's what the type of damage that projectiles do, okay? So if you think you're going to be coming up against a lot of torpedoes, you might want to take ablative hull plating. My plan is basically to kill targets as quickly as possible so that I don't have to worry about that. Also, with my shields up, I take less damage anyway from torpedoes. It's only if your shields are down that you can get really screwed with torpedoes, but torpedoes are very ineffective to shields in Star Trek Online. Next, these ones, in my opinion, are very important. This group here of 6. You can see this one, defensive subsystem tuning, 4.8 shield and auxiliary subsystem power. Basically, all of these give you extra subsystem power. This one here, offensive subsystem tuning, 4.8 to weapons and engines. So that's shields, auxiliary, weapons and engines that are covered right there in just those two. And that's an extra, what, 4, 8, so it'd be 9.6 extra power I've just got there from spending those 2 points. This one, shield subsystem performance, plus 3.2 shield subsystem power. So this one focuses specifically on shields. I'm going to take that bad boy. This one is another 3.2, but to auxiliary this time. This next one is again 3.2, but to weapons this time. And this one here is again 3.2, but to engines this time. Right, now we're going to move on to hull penetration. As you can see, this is a plus 50 hull penetration, which translates into a plus 5 armor penetration. So let's say if you're engaging a target excuse me, that has ablative hull plating, this is getting through that hull plating. Your weapons can penetrate through the armor that is on your target. So I'm going to put 3 points into that, because as I said, I want this guy to be very tactically focused. That's where I'm going with this. Shield penetration. As you might have guessed, a certain amount of your weapons can penetrate enemy shields. In this case, it is a plus 50 rating, which translates into a plus 2.5%. That can go up as far as 5%. Mightn't seem like a whole lot, but believe me, it helps. It means every one of your hits, a certain amount of it is going to be getting past the shields and directly onto the hull. So that's why I'm going for that. Next one, and these are the only ones that I'm going to be selecting for the 5th tier, which is all these ones here. I'm only going to be focusing on the engineering ones. So this one, warp core potential, plus 3 to all subsystem power. Pretty self-explanatory. And this one here, plus 2 to all subsystem power. So that's an extra 5 that I've got on all subsystems, or 20 overall, which is quite substantial when you think about it that way. The rest of these I am not interested in whatsoever. Okay, this one increases or decreases the cooldown on engineering bridge officer abilities. This one decreases the time on science bridge officer abilities. This one decreases the time on tactical bridge officer abilities. Right, let's see. Coordination protocols. Plus 20 hull capacity and shield capacity for hangar pets. I do have pets. I think I'm going to take that. Yeah, I actually forgot about these and forgot that I was actually using pets. Defensive coordination, 20% defense and plus 20 all damage resistance rating for hangar pets, plus 5% defense and plus 5 all damage resistance rating for all other teammates and summoned allies. That's not bad. Offensive coordination. What's this? 20% accuracy and base damage for hangar pets, 5% accuracy. Ooh, I might actually want all three of these. Yeah, do you know what? I'll try it just to shake things up a little bit. Alright, I have 4 points left. Now, one that I skipped. Long range targeting here on the 4th tier. Basically, alright, so it says long range targeting sensors. Maximum distance penalty minus 40%. This can go down to 20%. Basically, the further away you are from your target, the less impact or energy your weapons have, and thus do less damage. So the closer you are to a target, the more damage you're going to do. And this negates some of that drop-off. It starts at 2 kilometers and goes out to 10 kilometers. But having points in here will negate that. So I'm going to put 3 points into this. And that means I have 1 point left over, which is going to go into shield hardness. And that is the skill tree done. Okay, so that's how I've got this one done out. So it's fairly similar to my previous Let's Play series, with a few differences, but pretty similar. As I said, I wanted to be very tactically focused. Now, as you spend points, no doubt you notice that these bars start filling up. The more points you spend in a specific career, being engineering, science, or tactical, this one engineering, this one here science, and this one here tactical. So along the way, see these half steps. The more points you put in, when you reach this level here, it unlocks the ability to craft training manuals. This one here unlocks more training manuals, and this one here, and so on. But these ones here are bonus stats, we'll call them, for your character. So this one here, hangar health. Your hangar pets have an additional 10% maximum hull capacity. Really good. Increased duration of battery and device effect by 100%. I'm going to have pets, so I'm going to pick this one. Alright, it's going to be the most useful for me. These are a one-time deal. You have to retrain your skills in order to take another stab at these. Okay, so make sure you're picking the right ones. Sector space, travel, speed, or transwarp cooldown reductions. I want sector space, travel, speed. Threat control. Plus 100 additional threat control while in threatening stance, blah 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 blah. Your hangar pets deal an additional 10% damage from all sources. Sure. Hangar pets, boost them up. We'll go for that indeed. And... oh, did I? Oh, I did, yeah. Okay, so now we got this one here. Provide an additional plus 10 hull capacity, or provide plus 50 resistance to the duration of subsystem offline effect. I'm going to go with the hull capacity. I think the more points you have, the longer you can stay in a battle. That's the way I'm thinking anyway. Increase your critical chance by 1% for torpedoes and mines. Increase the critical severity for torpedoes and mines. I don't use torpedoes, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going to pick critical damage. Of course, if you do have projectile weapons, i.e. torpedoes and mines, you know, pick whatever one you think is going to be best for you. Next, increase your critical chance by 1% for energy weapons. Increase the critical severity for energy weapons by 5%. I'm going to go with the crit severity, get bigger hits, and hopefully take down the target quicker. And then we have grant an additional 2 accuracy rating or grant an additional 2 defense rating. Yeah, this is 6 in one, half a dozen in the other. He's an engineer, so let's go with the defense rating. Yeah, we stick in a fight longer. Right, so these, you can see right here, if you put enough points into either one of the 3 career or specialization, well, no, they're not specializations, we'll say careers, whatever, you can unlock ultimate abilities. You can see that this one here says, mark the target full and devote all available resources to taking them down. Each time you hit the marked full with an energy weapon, your weapon's firing cycle will speed up progressively faster and faster. Unlocks after choosing 24 abilities from this specialization. This is actually the first time that I've actually come close to this, so I don't know. We do have it here, it looks like, do we? No, we don't. Damn. Oh no, we do have it, yeah, because we have 24 points in there. Okay. So we've got that. Yeah, right, so that's what's going to happen. Energy weapons are going to speed up until the target is destroyed, and then it'll reset. There's one for engineer, science, and obviously tactical. But as I said, this is actually the first time that I've actually unlocked one of these. So I'm interested to see what this is going to do. It looks like a clicky. I don't think it's passive. We'll find out. We'll find out in due course or in time from gameplay. Right, that is the space side of things done. Next, we're going to move on to ground. So we have 10 points to spend in ground altogether. So I'm going to go up here, weapons proficiency. Total damage increased from skill plus 30%. I think that's a bit of a no-brainer. We increase it up to 50%. Endurance training increases hit points. And we'll take 2 of that. Personal shield expert increases the capacity by 15% for shields, and we'll put a second point in there. Kit performance, we'll definitely put 1 in there, and we'll put a second one in there. And our last 2 points, weapon criticals, weapon penetration. I think I'll split them between both of those. Right, okay, so that's our ground skill tree done. Now, again, as we put points in there, you can see we unlocked a number of abilities. So the first one here is the ability to train bridge officers in Mine Barrier 3 or Turret Fabrication 3. I'm going to go with Turret Fabrication. And we'll cover crafting in a later episode. Ground skill, willpower. Control effects. The skill increases your ability to resist incoming control effects, right? And this skill increases the effectiveness of most consumable devices. Yeah, okay, we're going for this one here. So hypo sprays, shield charges, all that sort of stuff. It's going to increase the effectiveness of them. Next, we are back to bridge officer skills or training skills. We're going to go with shield recharge 3. Notice how all of these are something 3. Like this was turret fabrication 3, and this one was shield regeneration 3. And it's the same as well with the other one, quick fix 3. And it should be noted, it's every second one, okay? Every second one of these is a possible manual you can craft for your bridge officers. Improves the range damage bonus gained while using the aim mode. I don't use that. Improve the dodge bonus gained while using the crouch mode. I do use that, so I'm going to pick in this. Next one. Unlocks the ability to train your bridge officers in new shields generator, fabrication 3, medical. Yeah, I like the medical generator. I like that one. I'm going to pick that. Attacking with melee inflicts a debuff of -20 damage. Right, attacking grants us... No, alright, I don't care about speed bonus while running. Cover Shield 3 or Equipment Diagnostics. I think I'll pick Cover Shield 3 because that's a little bit more useful in my opinion. By default, any damage attacking made from beyond a target's forward 120-degree arc will be considered a flank and deal additional damage by inflicting a -35 damage resistance rating penalty. Yes, we are definitely going to take in that bad boy. Because this one is by default any damage attack made from beyond a target's forward will be considered a flank and deal additional damage. This skill allows you to deal additional damage when successfully landing a flank on a foe. Damage resistant. This reduces the resistance penalty. Oh, right, okay. I want to throw out damage. Right. So one of those... this one was defensive in nature and this one is offensive in nature. But the same thing, but you know, very same, only different. Combat supply 2 or support drone fabrication 2. I think we'll go with support drone. And finally, weapons proficiency, endurance training. We'll go with weapons proficiency. Okay, that is our skills, both space and ground, completely redone. Yeah, so that's what we were going to cover this this episode. Thanks a million for watching, folks. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. That would help me out enormously. The more interaction I can get on videos and indeed on the channel, it will help YouTube searches and so on and so forth. So I really appreciate all of your guys' support. If you have any questions or comments on anything that we discussed here with skill trees, feel free and leave them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. My name is Winters, and I'll see you next time. So until then, take care.